Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm Bree Busy. You can call me Bree, and today we're getting busy with some tutorial. A YouTube tutorial for your thumbnails, in fact. And I have never done this before, but this has been a highly requested video for a while now, and I'm finally getting to it. So without further ado, let's get started. If you guys haven't been to my channel before, I'm mainly a gaming YouTuber. I love to game, and that is most of my content on here. More other content to come, but I'm learning and growing as well as you guys are watching this right now. But I have learned quite a few tips and tricks to help with a YouTube thumbnail to make it, one, very poppy, two, to reflect the content that you are actually making and bring a point across without putting any words on the thumbnail, etc. The tricks that I use and the tools that I use make it fairly easy to do something that looks very, very professional in my opinion, without spending hundreds of dollars on programs or etc. or having years and years of experience in making these. Now, the tools that you will need for this tutorial video are very simple and things that you have close by you. Maybe you are even looking at it right now, watching this video. It is your smart device. If you have at least your phone, you will be able to do most of the things I'm showing you today. I personally use my iPad. You can use these tools that I'm showing you today. They are found in most programs, free programs, things that you have probably used before in your life if you've used any social medias. Ow, I just hit my hand. And you can use them easy peasy lemon squeezy. I promise that you don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sit for hours trying to figure out how to use this tool and wrap your head around it. I promise you. We will go through this tutorial together and I will show you what to use. And now I'm using my iPad because I happen just to have one. It makes it fairly easy. The program that you see up right now is Procreate. By no means do you need Procreate. Any program that allows you to use the tools like a snip tool, any crop tools, any paint tools, etc. Anything that you're allowed to take a photo and put it into that program will work. I will put a couple of free options down below that I have personally used in the past to help me. So you can find those down below right now. I will show you really quick in my gallery. As you can see, these are most of my Resi 4 remake thumbnails. One, I've put a red slanted background. Two, I have a title of the game on each. And three, every single one of them has a picture of me reacting to the game. And yes, these are live reactions that I've taken from the game itself, screenshotted and put into these thumbnails. I think it makes it a lot more authentic than posing for a reaction afterwards, which you could still do that. This is just the style that I use for mine. I think I make some funny faces during games, so I like to use those a lot, no matter how I look. So for instance, we're actually going to go into this one right here. This is one of my favorites at the moment. It's from my last video, Resident Evil 4 remake, the ending actually, which if you haven't seen already, please go check out on my channel. The series has been a blast and a lot of fun, and I've loved the feedback from it. But I will be showing you how I made this one in particular. As you can see here, I actually have some of the photos already uploaded onto this program. So whatever program that you're using, just add on to the photos. I like to add them all at once or sometimes one at a time depending on how big the project is. But in this case, I've added all these photos. So the first photo I'm actually going to show you was a screenshot of me in the video game. You can see me in the corner actually reacting to one of the monsters that I defeated in Resident Evil 4. This is actually one of the bosses. A really fun fight. I will go after I've edited or while I'm editing a video, I'll go through and see if there's anything that pops up during screen that really grabs my attention from a viewer's perspective, whether it's a picture of a monster, something I'm doing in game, maybe something interesting happens, and I will look for that. So that's something that I highly suggest if you're looking for something in your thumbnail that you want to pop, and to be relevant to the video that you're making or have made. Go into your video and look for specific things, and then maybe you want to highlight that. This is the end boss that I fought in the game, so I thought that was very pertinent to the video, and again, what I would love to convey in the thumbnail. People will look at this monster and say, oh my gosh, that is creepy, she must be battling the final boss, etc. So this is what I've captured, and this is what I have up. I just added it just like this, and you're thinking, okay, well, this looks weird. You're up in the corner somewhere. That's not the reaction that you had in the other one. I will get to that in just a moment. Our next layer, which is I actually have right here as this red slanted. Now you can draw this. Or I literally just looked up a shade of red that I really wanted on Google search, and copied that photo of just a shade of red and added it to my thumbnail. It was easy as that. A lot of creators actually do this. They add a little bit of a slanted color behind their faces in a thumbnail because one, it brings forward your reaction if you're putting it behind your face or anything else that you're highlighting, especially if you're looking at the subject in the thumbnail, which in case is this monster. It also adds a little bit more of a theme to your thumbnail. This color red, I think, really goes well with the Resident Evil theme, as Resident Evil's title usually has a red, white, and black look to it. If you're going to add your face to a thumbnail, not many people do, and you do not have to do this. You can add something else, or maybe you can skip right to the title. So if this doesn't interest you at all, you can skip it. But the tools that I am about to show you that I use for my thumbnail will be very helpful. Now, this is the screenshot that I found. This is actually just before he fights the boss that I showed you, so it's perfect in time capture of the thumbnail and the reaction, and I think it was very wonderful. Right here, I'm laughing about what Leon said during the game, and I just love my reaction to it. I thought it would be a great ending thumbnail reaction.
I'll give you a holy body.
That's a good line. I like that line. What I'm going to do here is that you can go into Procreate, and this is for people who know Procreate. You can go in here and you have a snip tool where you can actually crop things out of a picture. So right here, I'm going to just turn this a little bit so it's at a better angle for myself. I'm taking my pen. You can also use a finger on your smart device. For any snip tool that you have, it's basically a freehand crop tool that you can use. But I'm going to create my first dot there. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw in my outline as best I can around my body. Now, this doesn't have to be perfect. I realized over the past few months that you really are just trying to get a general outline of yourself. Thumbnails are mainly seen in very small formats, usually on people's phones, occasionally, yes, on people's giant monitors. But the first thing that people see is not going to be the edges of anything. It would have to be very drastically horrible edges for people to really notice. But you can be as careful as you like here and crop off anything you need. I'm actually going to crop off my shoulder a little bit here to create more room on this side. And then as I've cropped here, I'm going to connect it right there. As you can see, it's cropped out everything else except for me. Now in this instance, I don't completely do a crop. I actually will go ahead and press a copy paste option that's down below. You can't really see because it's out of frame, but all it was is that a button that says copy and paste. I pressed that, and as you can see, nothing happened. But if I were to go over here, you can now see that I have a new layer right there that is just my reaction, and then I still have the main picture. This is why I like to do the copy paste, because it keeps the main picture just in case I don't like the thing that I cropped out, or if I mess up and I want to redo it. But let's go ahead and get rid of this one and keep my face layer right here. If you were to zoom in, you can see there are a bit of rough edges. But what we're gonna do next is kind of soften those out a little bit to make them a little more blendable, and then enlarge it and position it where you want, which I'll kind of do right now because I'm kind of happy with how it turned out. But we're gonna go ahead and just see how much work I'm gonna need to put into this. Let's resize it a little bit. Maybe I'll have it about right there, and we'll keep it there for now. The next tool that I'm going to go into is the eraser. Now, depending on what program you're using for the cropping and, you know, anything like that of your thumbnail, try to find an eraser that has a soft brush to it, something that's going to have a little bit of soft edges. Because this next part is really important in creating softer edges. Some people like a really crisp crop, but with what I do to my thumbnails and the quality that I like is that I kind of just go in and create a soft edge. Not completely, this is actually kind of big, but what I do is I just kind of straighten things out. I don't make it too soft to where it's blurry. I am just cleaning up a few things and adding a little bit that I think should be there. So it's not very much, it's just for really my peace of mind as I look through it, because, you know, as you're the one editing, you're gonna see most of the little flaws. But I think that's pretty okay, because again, I want to show you, most people are gonna see it at this size. And at this size, you can't see those flaws. And at this size, it's a great looking photo already, even though there's tons of things that we still need to work on. As we go in hella close, it looks a little rough, right? And this is also something that I would like to point out. I am by nowhere near a professional when it comes to capturing photos or anything like that. You can tell that the reaction part of me is a little fuzzy. There was no way for me to really capture it any way else for some reason. That part of the video was just like horrendously fuzzy for my face, not for the gameplay at all, but just for my face. That happens. And for us, like new upcoming streamers and content creators, we're gonna have more lower quality things that happen like that sometimes. That's totally okay, and I'll show you a trick in a moment to kind of sharpen up my reaction that's gonna make it look a little better. This next tool you can definitely even use in your own phone or any other program that's going to have it. It's actually going to be the sharpen tool, and what I do is I kind of just scale this up and sharpen my image a little bit, or maybe all the way. I know it still looks a bit rough, but again, it's because some people or most people are actually going to see it like this. So now if you look at it from here, you can see a little more detail in my face as it's sharpened, maybe the gliss in my hair, the shininess on my cheeks, my teeth, etc. I think it looks nice and poppy. You don't have to do what I just did, but again, I did it because it just adds a little bit more for me. One other thing that we're going to do to our face here is actually going to add a layer under it. And we're going to grab our brush tool and grab the color black or close to it. You can do whatever color, but this specific thing that I'm going to be doing is adding shading right behind me. This adds a little bit of depth against that red background that I have, and it can add a little depth to any picture or background that you have to separate you from that subject matter behind you or any other object that you have, not just your face. So what I do is I am in that layer just under my face, and I make sure I have the size that I want. So maybe a little bigger. Roughly that size works, or maybe even slightly bigger. That's perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go right under my face and body and outline it in black. And maybe just go over it one more time. Add a little bit of black. That's all I did. Now on that same layer that I just did it, this is something that you might not have on most programs, but it's a really easy program to find, whether you're gonna use your phone or whether you're gonna use a free paint app or anything like that. It's just a simple effect. It's called Gaussian blur on Procreate, but it's just a automatic blur effect that I add to it to create a shade. Now you can do this manually by hand by actually going in and using a blur tool or not an eraser, but a smudge tool to just smudge out and create a shade behind you manually if you like. This is just a lot faster and I use it because it's there at my fingertips. And as you can see, my background black line is getting softer. If you go back, it's just going to get harder. So I go till I'm about satisfied. I think 10% is good. If I go any more, it starts looking a little too fuzzy for me. So about 10% is perfect. I will actually go ahead and merge those two layers together. So now my face and the shaded background is actually going to be together and they will not be separated if I decide to move that around later. So now that I've shown you the sharpening tool, the blur effect that I use, etc., we're actually going to go back to that first layer right here, and that's actually the background with this monster guy. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking he can pop a little bit more. I actually really like the way he looks. I'm not going to have to do a ton of work to him, but I'm thinking, okay, let's sharpen him up a little bit. Another thing I like to do with backgrounds is I sometimes up the brightness or the saturation. Color is such a key thing when it comes to thumbnails. That's the first thing people react to when they're seeing thumbnails. So maybe I'll up the saturation a little bit and also resize it because I forgot my little me was actually still in the corner. So I'll go ahead and resize this a little bit so it's just behind the red and you can't see it anymore. Go ahead and deselect that, and now it's zoomed in a little bit more so that everybody can see that gruesome monster. It's looking really, really good. I'm liking it a lot. So now I will go in and my next layer is going to be the title. Now, a lot of people have different titles. For me, I wanted just a simple Resident Evil 4 title on every video to stay consistent. A lot of people sometimes don't have titles on their thumbnails. That is completely okay because they want enough room for the subject matter to be highlighted and not covered. This is just the specific style that I wanted for the series. You can handwrite your own title. Many people do that. You can just add arrows. That's such a key thing in a lot of videos, is adding arrows or circling things to get people's eyes to go directly to that and get them interested in what they're talking about in the video just by the thumbnail. Now, again, I didn't make this, but I just grabbed it because it is the official game title, and I wanted people to know that this is the official Resident Evil 4 gaming title. And there you can see the little TM there. So actually I'm gonna move this title right under my face, only because I don't want it covering my face. I'm wanting to add a little bit more depth. So it's a nice little effect just to have my face hovering over the title a little bit. It creates a nice look and feel to the thumbnail as well. And I'm just gonna actually, maybe we won't need to worry about that too much. I'm gonna make it a little smaller, maybe center it a little bit so it's not completely obstructing his face either, because he is the money shot after all. And that's pretty much it. After I add the title, I kind of look it over, maybe fix a few more things. Maybe sometimes I even change my mind and throw the whole thing away and restart. But all I have to do is just look at it from this perspective, and that's how most people are gonna view thumbnails anyway. And I just kind of look at it, maybe zoom in again, look it over and say, okay, that looks good. I actually really like this thumbnail. One, it was super easy to put together because I got all the screenshots myself and was able to put it together very easily. But again, this probably takes me about 10 minutes max, and that's only because I'm indecisive and I have to look through my photos sometimes, or my screenshots. I take like 50 at once and I decide which reaction I want, which screenshot that I got from a game. So sometimes it can take 10 to 15 minutes to do it. Now, if you guys have any more questions about what I've done, maybe you looked at something, you're like, I really don't know why or how she did that, please let me know down in the comments below and I will answer as best as I can. But yeah, I'm really proud of this one. I'm proud of a lot of my thumbnails. They're a lot of fun to make. I personally enjoy them. For now, this is more of like a low budget, fast way to do a thumbnail for people who are just starting out for streams and content in YouTube. So if I got to teach you guys something today, I'm super happy. If you got to learn something new, thank you guys so much. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!